My name is Josh Kepke and I am the team leader here at Vancouver Real Estate Today at McDonald Realty. Today we are reviewing the 5 points that you need to know about the Greater Vancouver real estate market. The Greater Vancouver housing market has continued to outpace the average in the month of October. If you focus only on the sales, you'd be missing the bigger picture. Sales were officially down by 5%, which is a small drop compared to last year's all-time record high. However, new listings, they fell off a cliff, dropping 28%, and the total inventory for sale dropped a massive 38%. Inventory levels across Greater Vancouver are currently at their lowest in at least a decade. In other words, sales are still running above their long-term average and inventory is sitting at decade lows. This is resulting in continued upward pressure on home prices. Detached home prices are now up 20.5% year over year, and condo prices are on the run, up 9.5%. As we enter into the last couple months of the year, we can expect home sales and new listings to drop. This is nothing unusual, but part of the normal seasonal pattern for the housing market. It's for this reason that the inventory picture is not going to improve this year. Prospective home buyers will have better luck next year when the housing market restarts in the new year, with listings typically picking up in February, most often after Valentine's Day. There are a few things that I'll be watching closely in the coming months, in particular inflation and central bank policy. Any regular reader of my newsletter or watcher of these videos knows that I put a strong emphasis on the cost of money. We had real mortgage rates running at -3% for most of this year. In other words, buyers have been incentivized to take on more mortgage debt. Interest rates are on the rise. The 5-year mortgage rate is now around 2.5%, and that's nearly 80 basis points up from the pandemic lows. Don't forget, when mortgage rates hit 3.5% in 2018 and everybody thought they were going to 4%, the housing market slowed right down, and in fact, in 2018, Greater Vancouver home sales fell to their lowest levels in 18 years. Depending on the product, prices softened in that year about 5 to 10%. In other words, if mortgage rates continue to creep higher and if they pass 3%, I expect we will see a slowdown in the housing activity. For now, the housing market continues to hum with prices moving up and to the right. However, should central bankers commit to fighting inflation and interest rates keep creeping higher, I would expect a housing slowdown. Either way, volatility is on the horizon as we sort this mess out. Now let's look at the detached housing market and give you an update on that. Greater Vancouver detached sales fell 18% year over year, a pretty big move, but without any concept you might assume that the market was weak or that the prices were softening. However, that is far from being the case. Sales fell 18%, but new listings fell 30%. In fact, for the month of October, this was the fewest number of new listings in over 20 years. The result is a renewal of bidding wars. There, I said it. Inventory for sale is at its lowest levels for the month of October in over a decade. When we look at months of inventory for sale, it currently sits at 2.9 for the entire detached segment. However, if you're looking for a single family house under $2 million, there's just 1.3 months of inventory for sale. This is the lowest reading in at least a decade, and it's never been more challenging to purchase an entry-level single family home. Detached prices inched up another 1.2% from last month and are now up 21% from last October. The pace of price inflation is not sustainable. Eventually, buyers will suffer market fatigue and they'll head for the sidelines. However, given the 10-year low in inventory for sale, the prices are likely to move higher in the months ahead. Statistically speaking, there has never been a better time to sell. The inventory situation will not improve over the winter months, and prospective buyers will have better luck in the spring. Next, let's get into the condo market update. Condo sales jumped 15% year over year and hit record highs for the month of October. The bull market for condos is well underway, as I said it off the top. The sales were up and the new listings fell, dropping 25% from last year's levels. They are still slightly elevated above the 10-year average, and higher levels of new listings continue to be absorbed. And in my view, this is largely due to a growing number of condo investors. Land registry operator Terranet, they recently reported that over 25% of the homes purchased in Ontario in the first 8 months of 2021 were sold to buyers who own multiple properties. They have not run this study in BC, but I can assure you it's likely in the same ballpark as Ontario. The number of investors continues to grow thanks to a prolonged bull market, which is reinforcing the buyers' optimistic expectations, and that, coupled with an era of zero interest rate policy, is prompting savers into the housing market in a desperate search for yield. It's hard to overbuild when an increasing number of the population wants a second and a third property. This obviously creates added risk should the market enter a more prolonged downturn and investors all decide to hit that sell button. But for now, optimism remains high and months of inventory for sale continues to fall. Months of inventory for sale in the condo market has plunged to 2.1%, and this is indicative of a strong seller's market. Obviously, this is placing upward pressure on the condo prices, as they have now jumped 9.5% from last year. The condo market looks to be following the price momentum that was first witnessed in the detached market and then in the townhome market. We saw this same story in 2016-2017. However, condo price growth will likely be more muted as new construction condo inventory remains elevated. So, I know that's a lot of information to throw at you in the span of a few minutes. If you want more localized info about your specific area, because where we're talking about really matters, feel free to send me a DM. In fact, do it. Send me a DM. Put a comment below. Reach out to me on my cell phone, 604-313-9805. And I'll be happy to give you a customized report, because really, this is a very challenging market, whether you are a seller trying to figure out where you're gonna go next, or you're just a buyer trying to break in, and I would love to bring some peace to that process for you. Again, I'm Realtor Josh Kepke at vancouverrealestatetoday.ca. Go check it out. Follow me on Instagram at Josh Kepke, and again, reach out to me with any questions and start the conversation in the comments. Thanks for watching. We'll be back with your next update next month.